Hey there, how are you? It's been a minute, and I'm here today to speak a little bit about, share, talk, listen, see your comments if you're around. Maybe you're here, maybe you're in church, maybe you're working today, maybe you're out trying to fend for your needs, maybe you're full of anxiety, maybe you're full of depression, maybe you're wondering what you're going to do about your medical problems or how you're going to pay for your prescriptions. Maybe you're thinking about what's going on with your children, or if you're going to lose your housing come the first, if you're going to be able to keep your utilities on. On my Naturally with Karen page, I posted a really good video about a woman. It was recorded in April, so just not even 2 months ago, at the end of April of this year, who's living in Los Angeles, which is not too far. It's about 7 hours away from where I used to live in the Bay Area. I'm a California native, and bless up. Good to see you, Steve. What happened in California that drove my parents out of California in 1981? Well, first they went from the Bay Area, San Jose, to Citrus Heights, which was a really much newer suburb. Not so much anymore. It's another big megatropolis outside of Sacramento. And then they decided to go where my mother found, relatives, distant relatives, to Cloquet, Minnesota, where the real estate prices were quite a bit less. And because they were in their 40s and they wanted to get out of the rat race, my brother had incidents with, at that time, gang members. I had, as a 15-year-old, someone tried to pull me into a car, a random stranger on the road. I was 15 and I'm walking to Pioneer High School, and someone tried to grab me into a car, and I ran off and screamed and went and pounded on someone's door, and the people drove off, feeling that I was making too much noise and commotion. I'd had an attempted rape as I was straddling my bike with my girlfriend Gina in a field where we went. She wanted to show me the initials that her boyfriend had carved on a tree. And being born in 1961 in San Francisco and raised in San Jose my whole life, my parents were raised in Livermore. My son was born in San Jose. We're California native people. We're coastal. We're West Coast people. I'm a West Coast person, born and tried and true. I watched the fakery, the escalation of the prices. My parents had resources. They still do. Lots and lots and lots of resources. They're well off. They won't have to ever worry about money. Many of you have parents that will never, ever have to worry about money. And through them, you will never have to worry about money. You will have resources like food and drink, and you will have shelter, and you will be able to put yourself, your body, your vehicle into a place where you're going to be safe. But that wasn't enough for me as a shaman and a medicine woman. I wanted to go out and explore. I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand the human condition. And starting in the early 1980s, by 1982, when I left the nest at 18 years old with $20 in a suitcase, and my parents are Great Depression mentality people. So if I called, the 2 times I called or 3 times I called in my life and said, I'm in a jam, I need $100 to finish my college, they said, we didn't choose to go to college. That was your choice. Oh, my son almost died. He was 6 days old, and I'm in a really big jam. I'm not going to be able to make my rent. I mean, I'm really in a crisis now. We didn't decide to have a child. Some of you will be saying when you hear that, my God, right? But you see, you have to be able to understand where this is coming from so that you can understand people, so that you can understand why their hearts are the way that they are, not just theirs, but now mine. I was raised by them, right? I had to either choose to grow and expand and cry and understand, or I had to stay exactly like them, not put them down, not disrespect them, not hate them, but I disconnected from them. I walked with, in 1982, people that at that time were called hippies, people that at that time were Rastafari, people that at that time were homeless, that today I like to say houseless instead of homeless, because you've always got your home. It's this vehicle that I talk about so often, right? I explored in those early 80s, getting rid of TV. And in 1984, I got it out of my house because I learned from Rastafari elders. But if I hadn't learned from Rastafari elders, if I hadn't kept my mind in the right direction, if I hadn't gone with people that were homeless and said, introduce me to your world, introduce me to what's going on. How do you make it? Where do you live? How do you get food? And I learned the art of dumpster diving. I did it. I ate with them. I learned how to go get pet food out of dumpsters behind pet stores, feed supplies that would throw them away or discard them out in their big garbage bins, which today are chained and locked down. And our environment is changing so rapidly and radically that it's inhospitable to human life. Why? Why is it? If you go back to what I've spoken about so many times, which is that mother was commandeered, commanded. She was commandeered. She was taken over. Why? Because mother has a womb. Because mother has the sacred memories. Because mother has the medicine and mother is a healer. So we're going to make it difficult. We're going to make mother be owned, be banded, be married, produce children all the time, be barefoot and pregnant. And oh, sure, we've come a long way, baby. That's why you got to smoke your Virginia Slims in the 70s and the 80s, and you got to burn your bra, and you got to be feminist. And now we're going to manipulate your gender. We're going to manipulate your thinking. We're going to make you believe that all these diseases and pathology are out there to get you. We're going to introduce smallpox and chickenpox, Lyme's, and make ticks and every aspect of nature be deadly and harmful and scary, to the point that when I speak with people today and they tell me that they took their children out into nature and that everyone freaked out because there was a fly in the tent or a fly in the car, I say we've truly entered insanity. We've truly entered insanity. Bless up, Jackie. Good to see you, sis. How can you be afraid of a fly, a mosquito, a tick, a spider, a Nancy? These are your brothers and sisters. Okay. So you see, to bring mother to the place that she's at over 2,500 years ago, and how do I know? I know because my grandmother carried the stories forward from her before and before and before and before her. My life has not been an easy row. You know, the row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. To become the elder, it's not easy. Because you remember the truth, but How do you even, get this truth to the younger people who can't sit down and hear you? They don't have an attention span. Even my early 40-something-year-old clients come in and they say, I've got about a 30-second attention span. Really? So you've got money, you can buy things up, you can make decisions, but you've got no wisdom. You've got no hair, you're sewing your hair in. But you can buy, all kinds of land, and you can make decisions, and you can affect a lot of people. And you can make all kinds of comments at the parties that you attend, like get rid of those people. If you go to my Naturally with Karen page, you're going to see the outstanding video that I just posted about a woman who's been living as a houseless, homeless person in Los Angeles. And it's not a joke. It's not easy. I've been homeless before, twice. I've been homeless with my son. And even though it was only 3 months, it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening. So to put it mildly, putting the fear of God into people is exactly what's been done to you. You're scared shitless that you're going to lose your sticks and bricks. You're protective, that you're going to not be able to film the police when they come up to you, that you're not going to be able to go to where they hold the food hostage and go take your food out of the grocery store, that the food prices are going to go up and up and up and up and up. And if you go to the food pantries, like I was in line here just last week, you're going to find out that they're going to hand you a lot of bread and a bunch of sprayed food. And our younger people are eating crackers, bread, mac and cheese, nasty, nasty food that shouldn't even be sold. And it shouldn't be sold because it's going into our waterways, our people are pooping it out, and then they're becoming doctor dependent. So it has been in the last 15 years in particular that I've realized that every single condition, if you watch me or read my answers, on Quora, Quora.com, like a quorum or a query, Quora.com is aiming to be a huge, exceptionally large database. You'll see that I have almost 3,000 answers, which is a considerable investment of my time. I'm leaving that for my son. Okay. I want my son, even if he can't really even see the truth right now because young people can't see the truth, I want it to be there for him, for you, for everyone. Not because I think I'm the brightest person in the world. Au contraire. Because I think I took the time to figure it out. I took the time to figure it out. And every day of my life, whether I'm looking across the street at my neighbors or over to the side, or I go to my shop and I deal with clients that are full of ulcers, anxiety, Raynaud's disease, diabetes, Hashimoto's, lupus, cancers, kidney problems, certainly depression. I say to myself, we wouldn't have to have this. We wouldn't have to have any of these things, but for the fact that we have allowed businesses and people to run roughshod over common sense and humanity, empathy and compassion. So if you can have a business and you can sell Pop-Tarts, and you can have a business and you can sell Powerade, and you can sell Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you can sell Cheerios, and you can sell Coca-Cola, and you can sell all of these things just because you can, even though you knowingly and willfully are harming other human beings, then you're a criminal. You're a profiting criminal. But for the incidence of sickness, because if the physical body is sick, the mental body is also sick. The spiritual body is also sick. The emotional body is also sick. And a sick individual will seek to self-medicate itself. A sick individual will seek out some form of adding benefit. So adding benefit is the root word of addiction. You're adding ions, okay? You're adding ions. So what does a white woman know about all that? I mean, what does a white woman know about addiction, homelessness, poverty? What does a white woman know about all that? I know that my phone, about 10 texts a day pops up from people that I'm helping on the streets, including last night at 10:30. And I do like to go to sleep at about 10 o'clock because I was helping someone battle addiction that was very, very severe. And they say, I don't feel safe in my HUD housing when 6 times a night it's like someone's trying to, break in my door and get in. Or when I feel like my mother is not well and I'm not going to have a place to rest my head. When if I am in my 50s and 60s and I have to keep working at this strength because the rent prices keep going up. When I say to myself, gee, I'd love to leave Cloquet, Minnesota, except that now as an elder, it means I got to go out there and charge people more so that I can pay what is a starting rent of $1,000 a month on just a sticks and bricks shelter. I ask myself, where is the pack? Where is my pack? Where's my pack that says enough is enough? We are a combination of elders and youngers who say, let's grow our own plant-based food, keep our mind, our brain healthy, keep off the doctor's plantation of drugs, keep respectful communication, and stay out of Babylon's system, which says, you are going to pay me until you die. And I'm going to keep charging you more and more and more and more until you go insane in the membrane because you can't possibly cope with the pressure of the screw that I'm going to put you. It's a mind screw, okay? It's a mind screw. And everywhere you turn, because every day new people are being born and elders are prematurely leaving the plantation. I've mentioned this for decades. We didn't die. To die is to lose sufficient air to breathe and sufficient water to pump the vehicle. The vehicle is self-healing. But if you're living in an environment where the water is full of halogens, as I write in my book, Detox and Heal Your Thyroid, bromine, bromine, fluoride, chlorine, okay? You're going to soak and swim around in the pool, pointing to the gym here down the road, okay? You're going to sit in your bathtub and soak in fluoride and chlorine. You're going to brush your teeth in it. You're going to cook your food in it. So yes, by the time you're 40 or 50, you're starting to go insane in the membrane. You are starting to slip a cog. You are starting to have problems. People looked at me like I was out of my damn mind 35 years ago, drinking only filtered water. Out of my damn mind. Even my son's father told me, you're absolutely nuts, eating only organic food, eating only plant-based, eating high raw, eating ITAL food. ITAL food, ITAL is vital, okay? So what ends up happening is one of your family members, if it's not you, ends up yamming down pork, grease, all kind of problems, right? Coca-Cola, cigarette, and they start to slip a cog. They start to get unwell. And first, what's the first thing that happens? They're sitting in on the toilet for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Yesterday, I go into the Speedway and I've got a box of canned foods that was given to me that I'm bringing up to donate, yam and things like that, right? And I bring it over there and I set it by Speedway. I got a bag of oranges and stuff and I set it out there because it's more than enough for me. I go in there to use the bathroom to urinate and I'm waiting. I hear the toilet flush like 5 times and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting outside of the restroom, right? This is becoming second nature, is that people take a very long time in the bathroom. They're full of gas, flatulence, smell. They've got to cover it up under their arms, and they've got a body spray with toxic stuff, and they've got to cover their hair with, all kind of hair dye and gray covering and things like that. And I wish, whether it was Anastasia and the Ringing Cedars, or it's Rastafari, or it's the natural way of life, or it's the natural goddess, or whatever it is, whether you're in a white skin bag or you came in a luxury skin bag and you've got a high carbon, high pigment, melanated skin bag. This is what I came in, so I'm going to make the best of the one that I came in. Some people think that you got to pick the one that you came in, and I tend to think that you probably didn't. Okay? But people are hurting, and we're fearful. I'm fearful, because if I sell my house and I go out there, do I now have to start charging you $500 for a half an hour? Do I have to be like medical medium and compromise and charge you $400 for half an hour? Will you value that more if I gouge you and I make tons and tons of money and I show you my Lumineers on my teeth and I flash everything around? No. The only way that we're going to save ourselves, to SOS, save our ship, is to do what? Okay? Regenerate. Okay? We're regenerating. Hair, skin, nails, body, energy. We're regenerating. Because your cords were clamped, most of you were medicalized birth, many of you were fed formula, most of you were immunized, most of you were told, don't you dare use those intuitive abilities. Thou shalt have no gods before me. You shall not divine. You shall look at the book of Deuteronomy. You will not divine. So you will notice I rarely ever use that word because of its strong theosophical connection. You will not catch me using the word soul unless it's S-O-L. So, soul, S-O-L, S-O-U-L, sold, S-O-L-D. You have been sold a bill of goods. And that bill of goods says you need to be protected at all times, because at all times you're under risk and danger and potential harm. If you're not warm enough, if you're not vaccinated, if your children don't get enough education to compete with other children, if you don't look a certain way, if you have gray hair, if you do this, and if you drive a raggedy beater car, and if you don't have tabs, and if you don't have insurance, if you don't pay the property tax, I'm going to call bullshit. Okay? This is why I get annoyed when I take younger people under my wing and say, let's go ahead and form a pack, and they're not capable of seeing the long-term benefit. Or they come to you as a paying client, and then they're out there speaking on YouTube trying to get likes and attractions, but they don't really have the experience to understand that it's about a lot more than likes, attractions, attention, and money. It's about forming packs so that the basis of the packs are strong individuals, strong packs, strong communities, strong cities and states, and a strong world family. Because without a strong world family, you don't have anything. Does that make sense? If you only have to teach your children to look forward to farming them out the door and farming them into jobs and farming them into institutions and farming them into a box, that's why I made my course Domestication for $12. So you would understand what kind of a domesticated animal you truly are. Look in my eyes really good. We are not the same unless, that's why I said, look at my eyes. I'm giving you a lot of hints. You can upgrade your brain to a super genius level, to the point where you would never in your right mind ever crave alcohol or drugs or learning from an institution. You would only want to learn from elders who also had no interest in medication. Now, if you compromise yourself and you're in the most hideous pain ever and you really legit need something, and I've been in that pain one time in my life where it was so, I was like, please make it go away. I'm going to go insane from the pain, right? Then if you need something for pain, and I mean you absolutely need it, you can use something that's of a small, you don't have to have an Oxy or a Percocet. You can use something on a minor level, okay? The way we form group mind, watch it. Let's see if we keep our connection. Just watch it. If I could tell you the tests that I have been through with 100,000 cockroaches and heroin addiction and things and phones not dialing like they're supposed to, despite the fact that I always pay my bill and I always do everything. And then I start ramping up on YouTube and, well, now you got to have 1,000 subscribers, and it's boom, 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 boom. And I'll tell you what, I have clenched my teeth. I have gotten raw. I have come out of that woman who until her 40s was very quiet and not so outspoken and always gentle. And I'm still her. I am. But on top of, layered in with this now, is a strong warrior advocate who's regrowing her dreadlocks. Okay? They're going to grow out. My hair is growing so fast. I just pull it back. I let it go down for a little bit and pull it back. You cannot expect to live a sane, rational life under irrational pressure. The balloon is going to pop. So last night I got a text from someone who doesn't want to be mentioned, who says, they try to break into my house about 6 times a night. I don't feel safe. I'm a 60-something-year-old man, and this is what's going on. I don't know if I should move here or here. I'm too old to work now. So how in the hell do I go somewhere and expect to pay over $1,000 a month or get all this paperwork redone with HUD and HRA and everything else to get myself housing, to keep myself safe, because he's been homeless for years. And I can tell you, it's a very unsafe situation. So what happens if your children become drug addicts, or your parents become raging alcoholics, or your neighbors are dealing crack next door, or blah, 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 or you see your neighbors across the street abusing the shit out of their animal and you just finally can't take it anymore, and you say something and they're like, you better back off. You can't pick up your sticks and bricks and just move, because the system has you trapped on lockdown big time, and there's only one way out. And I've spent most of my life alone. I parented my son 100% alone by default. I came through huge hurdles. I healed people, cured their disease. I gave them real medium readings. I gave them real medical intuitive insights. And I mean the real deal. They verified them. I've got testimonials. The only way out is group mind. That's it. That is the only way out of this mess. That's it. That means you have to strengthen you first. You have to strengthen you first. Put the air mask on, get the hair test, figure out what you need to do first. I just got an email back. Give thanks, sister. I looked it over. I'm going to be in touch and do some coaching. What does that matter? He's anonymous. In this case, he's got elevated tin, extremely, the most elevated mercury I've ever seen. He's got a problem with his heart that the doctors already identified, and his copper is tanked way down. He's in a melanated vehicle. He's a black man, is what you would call him. He's in his 50s. Okay. This is life-saving. Life-saving. Because otherwise, if I tell you absolutely remotely I can sense you, I can tell you exactly what's going on, which is what I've done for many, many, many decades, you're going to go, yeah, okay, well, I don't know about that. Where's my proof? I want my proof. So the hair tissue mineral analysis, the HTMA profile 2 is your proof. It's going to give you your proof. So if you're high zinc and you're starting to get stiff and you're starting to get arthritis and you're starting to think really slow and you're like a couple of other people I know here in Cloquet and you go, yeah, I want to do that. That's not just a mannerism. That's a slow brain to thought transfer. Okay. So one of the most annoying things for me is that people with a toxic brain are slow. Okay. You know them as learning disabled. You know them as all of the varieties and implications that are given to them, called a diagnosis or some kind of a code. But the truth is, the brain is slow. The intuition is totally dimmed. They don't even have it anymore. So they can't believe it. You know your family members when you go to them and you say, and they go, yeah, but I think I used to remember things, but I mean, now I haven't used it in so long. And I mean, I kind of would know when Susie was going to call and I kind of would have dreams and visions. No. That's why I've told you, look in my eyes. You would have seen it. Not one person has come back and said, I saw it. I saw what you were talking about. I saw it. Drink nettle leaf tea for 25, 30 years. Get rid of your TV for 35 years. Go out and walk in nature every single day. Stop dyeing your hair for most of your life. Stop wearing nail polish. Stop thinking about stuff that doesn't matter and watch your life change. Don't use alcohol. Don't use medications. They call them medications, but there's no medicine in a medication. A medication, let me break this down because I was taking a really quick rinser off or shower this rise, right? This morning, you call it. And I thought to myself, this is something people really don't know. I can guarantee that every single person listening to this does not know this. So start giving your elders credit like Kim does. Kim gives me credit. She goes on, and it's not because I'm big-headed, but because if you give me what the community in the world knows today as social proof, and you say, hey, listen to her. I think she legit wants to help people. I think, like on a legit basis, I think that she can not only help you to heal yourself and keep yourself fed, but I think then she can get mobile. And I think even if this woman won the lottery and she had like $31 million, she wouldn't just go put herself in a frickin' day spa for a year and fancy herself up and get Lumineers on her teeth. I think she might actually get back to the world. I think she might. I told you to look at my eyes really carefully for a reason. I can put you in touch with a psychologist. He can tell you what my IQ is. Yours would be the same thing. Yours would probably be more than mine. You're intuitive. Your measurable intelligence on a Stanford Binet IQ test, your EQ, which is your emotional quotient, your emotional intelligence, all of these things, including your quip and how fast you think and how many things you get done in a day and how creative you are and how much you study. I have studied voluminously for over 35 years, voluminously, meaning start to finish, okay? Not because I'm go, 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 go type A personality and I'm busy, busy, busy. No, I get out in nature and I'm there. I go deliver the food. I help take care of my own child who's a young adult, okay? I help bring another man's child under my wing for over 2 years and help him with communication, with food, with his dog, with his father, with many different things. I don't get paid for this. I get help. I get help fixing my car. I get help keeping the house together. That's what a pack does. A parasite takes from you. I want my rent. I want your property tax. I want my car insurance. I want this. I want renter's insurance. I want you to have a certification if you're going to do energy work. Pardon me? This is my hand. You put me in this vehicle. I didn't ask for this vehicle. My spirit didn't have to have a vehicle. You projected me into a vehicle and birthed me, tethered me. So here's the nugget that I just alluded to. You go to the doctor because now you're trained, because mama was harnessed. I told this shit to Nature Boy. I told this shit to Madison Vinge. I told this shit to a million people, and they're out there talking it. But we're not forming packs. We're not. The only one that's really, really, really actively supporting is Kim. Really, she's the only one that's actively saying, I think she's got something here. So now that mama was taken over, meaning your grandmother trees, your air, your water, your food, your freedom, you're in complete lockdown. I know most of your levels, and it's not a judgment, but it's because I can look back at your pictures and I can see them 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago. I can see you. I could see what level you're on very, 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 very easily. And I'm glad that you're at the level that you are right now. And I'm not trying to say I'm at this level and you're down here at this level, because that's ineffective. That's old school dualistic thinking I don't really need. What I need you to do is to realize that if you're going to have an elder who's willing to bring group mind and help you to heal yourself so you can get strong, power your brain, and realize this. Mama was taken away from being your healer, all your stem cells, all of your blood, all of your abilities. You were trained not to use your intuition, your inner GPS. You were trained not to realize that some of these landmarks, like the pyramids and the Sphinx and everything else, were put there, were put there because they were generators. Okay? So now that you're unable to heal, you're unable to see very quickly what's going on. I mean, I can look at an individual and I can see their fingers. I can notice their fingers, their hands. I can notice their hair immediately. I can notice their skin. I can see what I'm telling you to notice in my eyes that I can guarantee 99% of you will not know what I'm talking about. Okay. But blah, 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 blah on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. I want attention. I want to emotionally masturbate. I want to take over the show. I'm only less than 25, but I'm going to be. You need to shut up and sit down. You don't know anything yet. You're still a baby. Just shut up and sit down. And I mean that. And I mean it in the nicest possible way I can say, but you don't know what you're talking about yet. So you shouldn't be a mouthpiece. Okay? So here's the deal. Now that you go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you, yeah, you've got these 4 allergies, and, the ragweed and the oak tree and the daffodils, they just inflame you every year. You're going to need to have the Xerox inhaler and the blankety blank lotion and this cream and that thing and whatever. So now you are an experiment. Only here's one thing you didn't know, and I hope that you're taking a note on this one before I delete this. You came in on a stock certificate with 9 digits. 9 is the number of completion. So if your social slavery assigned number is blank, 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 dash, blank, blank, dash, blank, 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 those are 9 digits. That's the number of completion. You are the final experiment before you're projected into the machine. And I've been telling you this for 20 plus years. I've been telling you. They're farming you. They're farming you into the machine. And all the nature boy and Tony girl and blue blah blahs and goo goo gagas and everybody else comes along and grabs it up and gets on their YouTube instead of what? Not that you had to come big me up and make me be the big celebrity. That's not what I was saying. But in here, I'd already told you. I had the group mind figured out. It's figured out. Okay. So you can either go and see people being harmed intentionally, and you can get your camera and you can start filming them. Okay. And taking pictures of them and do what? What are you going to do with that? I guess it does something because now you've got evidence that there's police brutality because you damn straight there is, right? There are people being brutally assaulted on both sides of the fence. Okay. I'm not just bashing police, but I'm saying we have a situation where people are out there that don't have sticks and bricks homes, where people can't go get food at the grocery store, where people are so sickened from the food that they are getting that they're not thinking straight, that their thyroid is so screwed up. They don't give a crap about the fact that you don't know what gender, who you are, what you are. You don't know your power. You don't know how to use your intuition. You don't have a GPS. You can't get out there and mow your lawn. You don't know anything about dogs. Dogs are undergoing the most traumatic abuse I've ever seen in my life. I can't even look out my window without wanting to go over there and just slap them upside the head. Or with people that are close to me and their own relatives, picking them up by the scruff of the neck and just, the dog's not doing shit. They're so disconnected. They're so insane in the membrane. What the hell? Group mind is about having enough of a collective consciousness so that as you do your hair report and you get your minerals, your trace elements that are your spark plugs straight, so you can function high enough to say, now, I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. Your eyes are going to the whites of your eyes, the sclera, are going to get incredibly white. And you're going to feel incredibly much more energized and crystal clear, and your brain's going to work very quickly. I can take one look at your pictures and I can see what I had myself at one time from a mouthful of amalgams. That's a shutdown. Nobody needed to do that to my mouth. They know your blood when you come in. They know your spirit. They're going to suppress you intentionally, or your children, or they're going to put something as a roadblock along your path. I alluded to cockroaches, defunct pack members, addiction, sabotaging your children, CPS or social workers taking them out of your house, damaging. You do not know what's around the corner. I'm warning you. I've warned you and warned you and warned you. It's a tricky, slippery slope of a game. Even the wheat, we've talked about this numerous times, is set up to trap you. The beets, the wheat, the food, the doctors. So you go to the doctor because now mama is a wife who's banded, who's at home, who's producing children, who now appears to be free. She's not free. Why would you go spend $2, $5, $10, $20,000 and have a wedding and put on a white dress, which was just a remnant of being able to evidence whether or not you would be soiled by the man who bought you and you would have a red blood stain? That's why you have a white dress. Did you not know that? I mean, did you not know that? Did you not know that, really? You see, when I teach the younger people, because I'm an elder, not because I'm a know-it-all, and they don't come back and they don't say, okay, let's start building a pack around this elder, and they say, okay, well, you can come on over to my eco village, but then you're going to do everything I tell you to do. I'm going to tell you to go F yourself. That's straight up what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you there's no way in hell I'm going to put myself around you. And I mean, that's one of a great many people that I've connected, and I thought, wow, okay, this person can keep their ego humble, but now you know what? I'm sticking with me. I'm sticking with me. You can stick with me. You can build a pack if you want to, which means we build the pack towards self-stabilization, family stabilization, pack stabilization, community stabilization, and then world stabilization. Because otherwise, the way it's going right now with the trafficking, I could tell you horror stories about MK Ultra testing that was done to me at age 4, and you would sit here and start bawling right now. You do not strap a 4-year-old girl to a board and feed them LSD and rape them to dissociate their mind. So you're either going to end up being someone who's incredibly tough, who can ride through some really, really, really heavy shit, or you're going to be someone who's going to be rolling over all the time and be extremely submissive. And that's how alphas are formed. So what I do isn't a hobby. What I do supports me. It's not a hobby. I don't go out there and dabble in it and play around because daddy, you know, my husband's got a check and I can wear fancy. These earrings were $1 at Walmart. Okay. I've lived the good life. I've lived the good life that people like to claim is the good life, where I worked in law as a paralegal and I drove the BMW for a little while and I played the game. I did. I know what the game is. Power is really seductive. So I understand how Nature Boy and many other people got really seduced by power, because I was able to get very seduced by power in my late 20s, 27, 28, 29, driving the nice car, working as a paralegal, having all of the law enforcement and judges and everyone, whoa, she's really sharp. And she's good looking. She's tall. She's been a former model. She can crank out those motions. She can win a case. That shit's really seductive. It's really seductive to feel power running through your veins. But that's fake power. That's fake power, because the system will use you and spit you out. It will use you and spit you right back out. Oh. Group mind is where strong, integral individuals are sufficient enough in packs to where they connect together through projected images and strategic operations. Not overthrowing the government, not trying to do bombs or anything like that. So just, whisk all that away. This is 10 times more effective. And I've had 40 fucking years to think about it. Through lots and lots of Rastafari teachings from elders that were in their 70s back in the 1970s who taught me. Who taught me what ITAL was to get rid of my television. And still I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I really like my TV. But in 1984, I was like, you're going out, right? Stop painting the fingernails. Stop dyeing the hair. Stop being able to relate to even my parents and my family, because I was like, whoa, the vibes are really, really, really off. Like, with the level of sensitivity that I had from the abuse and the trauma, dissociating and coming back, getting all those mercury amalgams, my entire mouth had been filled. So my tin and mercury and levels and my copper levels were through the roof. So I looked buck ass nuts for several years. Buck ass nuts. When your copper levels are really, really high, you go right into the next farming, So the slavery, the modern day slavery of these times is to have people feel like they're mentally ill. So to make you feel like you're mentally ill, so that you need to have their drugs, you need to have their lobotomies, you need to have their electroconvulsive therapy, their ECV, right? That is still done in Duluth, Minnesota, and it's still done in many states in the United States. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to go out there and spit their blunt. They want to go out there and, finger somebody else. They want to go out there and flutter around and, play their little games. Talk about their binary this and their non-binary that and all the different things. We have real work to do. And the work that we need to do is pleasant and nice. It's cleanup work. So as each individual does their own cleanup work and realizes what the truth is, and the truth is living a life where you can thrive, where you're not worried about paying rent. It is, as I'm hearing, right? Resource driven, as I've been talking about for so long, resource driven. Okay. Overheard another conversation just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I don't want to live by people that don't have resources. Do you have resources? Do you have resources? So if you don't have a paycheck for the next month, where will you be living? If there's no paycheck that comes in the next 45 days, does your landlord, the lord of your land, say, that's okay, we just really like you, we're going to keep you on, we've decided that paycheck or no paycheck, we like you and love you enough that you're just going to stay here with us? No. Out you go. How about the grocery store where you shop and they're pleasant all the time and you come in, we don't have any money, but we're really hungry. Nope, I don't think so. Or if you're driving your car down the street and the officer goes, your tabs are from 2 years ago. And when I ran your license plate, it says you don't have insurance. You're not allowed to be driving on the road. We're going to have to impound your car. You go to pick up your car and it's another $300. You see, that has deposited fear inside of you that at any given moment if you don't have those things. So some of you are what I call financially insulated. You can absolve yourself of all those little worries, but you're worried about other things. You're worried about who's using you all the time. Do they really love you? Probably not. Probably not, because about 2,500 years ago, when they took Mama out of the temples, the priestesses and the oracles and the prophetesses and all of the powerful shamans, every one of those were shamans. You know them as shamans today, medicine people. When they did that, and they put her inside of the house barefoot and pregnant, and he could just, screw on her anytime he wanted to and keep her pregnant all the time, because more children was more free labor on his land. And that's all he cared about, was enriching his lot. Those are the words, look it up, enriching his lot. His children didn't even matter to him. Children don't matter, otherwise they wouldn't have put you through experimentation. So when you go to the doctor is noting the experiment that is you. They know your blood type. They've already had your PKU. You've already been born in the hospital. They know which coded vaccinations you were given and now which medications. So each one of you is a 9-digit experiment that's being documented at the doctor's office, and it's also being double-blind studied, remember, through the pharmacy. So the pharmacy knows what drugs you're being handed, which are code. The doctor knows the experimentation or the code. So they regularly take out your blood because you believe in the oracle, right? The doctor that's going to read your blood. And it's not that they can't get anything from your blood, because you can see inflammation in the blood. Sure, you can. You can tell by those numbers, right? So I like to use that for people that it's like, okay, let's get you started. Let's get you motivated. We can see your C-reactive protein. We can see your cortisol levels. Well, ideally, I would have saliva, but not everyone has access to salivary testing. But I would really encourage you to get your hair test done, get your brain fired up, get yourself thriving, and get yourself within a pack. Get into my pack or get into someone else's pack, meaning I don't own the pack. I happen to be an alpha and an elder, and I welcome people that don't want to be smokers, people that are non-smokers, non-drinkers, non-medication people that like a plant-based diet, that want to, good to see you, Nancy. Here's my cousin, Nancy. People that want to be within a pack that are of integrity, loyal, protective, right? But if you've got too much to learn, then please forget it. Please don't. Please don't burden me and other people. Okay. So I think that's about it. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I want to thank you, Kim, for always consistently supporting me. I appreciate that. And you are an experiment. The doctor is experimenting on you. There's been many people that have been in the doctor's office that have had plutonium injected in them. There's been the radiation experiments are so voluminous, okay, not only on the plantation in terms of ionizing I-131 radiation, but many, many, many more. And when a person has figured out how to accelerate the brain and grow their wisdom, and they're showing you how to do it for free, you should really think about supporting them. You should really stop thinking about your smart dressers and, trying to dress up children in adult clothing, and trying to, constantly secure energy with flirtation and foolishness and fuckery, and start thinking about what really matters, which is those children are going to grow up in an environment where it's almost a certainty that they're going to be predated upon. The predation levels are so high right now. And let me just tell you that for someone coming from MK Ultra testing at age 4, you don't really want that for your children. It took me a hell of a lot of work to resurface myself. And I did go to counseling, and the counselor even commented that it was pretty unusual for someone who's gone through the extensiveness of what I have. It's probably why I wear a mouth guard at night, is because I will just kind of clench down sometimes, and I take my magnesium at night and I get out and I walk. But I really don't like the system feeling like it's my master. I really don't like the system feeling like it's a plantation that I don't really have any escape from, or that I can't make a choice to want to move wherever I want to move without gouging you and charging you. My life shouldn't be about how am I going to be able to make money from you all the time so that I can continue to have a life, right? So you have a life because you go sell your hours to the grocery store, or you go sell your hours to the business supply guy, or you go sell your hours to the Schwann's truck, being a Schwann truck driver, or you go sell your hours to Aldi's, or you go sell your hours to being a sanitation engineer, meaning you work for waste management, and you're going to come by tomorrow and pick up the garbage in the recycle can out front. Okay. Like, there's more to life than that. And I hope that you will take a moment to really see that, and learn how to grow your food with minerals, and learn how to realize you're being experimented upon, and seek me out in terms of supporting me so that we can, while I am alive as an elder, help us get to group mind. I'm not just going to put it all out here on Facebook for you because I've already told you why. There's too many egotistical young people who want to just grab and go and just do something with it for their own personal gain. And I don't trust you anymore. I don't trust you anymore because you can't get yourself right and get together underneath the wings of an elder. So it shows me that I can't really trust you. Okay. So, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope this has been beneficial in some way. If you have any questions, you think about it, or something I said, be sure and note them down below, and I'll help. Thank you. Take good care.